But let me introduce her. The sales director began her Mary Kay career in September of 1985 and debuted as a sales director in 1989. She's qualified for 14 career cars, 8 of them the beautiful pink Cadillac. She has 88 quarters of star consultant status, woof, and has achieved 3 gold medals. She's been in the court of personal sales 4 times, and she's appeared in the unit circles 19 times. Her high in the $500,000 circle of achievement. Her highest monthly check, ladies, listen up, is $9,000, $296.56. Please welcome, get on your feet, from Valdosta, Georgia, Independent Senior Sales Director, Cleta Colson.
It was funny, but broken out skin. And so I can remember right now when I got home, I had, in my little one-bedroom apartment, I had this bag, and I pulled out those boxes. It's the first time I'd ever had skincare in a box. Usually it was plastic, you know, and I thought, I'm grown up now. I mean, I'm ready for this stuff, and I was very religious about using my Mary Kay skincare. The cleanser, the mask, freshener, moisturizer, and the foundation. And really in about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, my skin cleared up for the first time since I was a teenager. I mean, for the first time to where when I didn't have makeup on, I was not totally embarrassed to have such broken out skin. So I really did like the skincare. Well, the lesson number 1 I want to tell you, I've got 6 lessons. Number 1 as a consultant is you want to have products on hand to give to your customers. I promise you that I'm one of these impulse buyers. I mean, I am an impulse buyer. I admit it. I can raise my hand and say it. And if she's not letting me walk out with that product that day, I can tell you right now, I would have gone the next day and told her that I would have canceled my order. Because I didn't pay her that day, she let me pay her $20 a week for 3 weeks on a Thursday. We all got paid on Thursdays at the university. And so, you know, if she hadn't given it to me and I went home that night to use it and got excited about it, I would have canceled my order. So that's the first thing that I think as a consultant to know that if you have those products on hand to give them to them that night, you're going to sell that person on the good decision she made to spend money with you. So, back to my story. I wanted all the colored products too, but I couldn't afford them. So she talked to me and asked me to be a hostess. And she said that she needed to get back with me in 2 weeks to check on my progress for my skin and make sure I liked all the products. So I did. I booked a skincare party. We filmed shows that day. And I had 4 or 5 of my friends over. And I watched as she stood at the end of the table and we sold over $200. 2 of my girlfriends booked parties, and I got all my glamour free. I got the contact free, had 3 eyeshadows that used with water, which I didn't have a clue how to do, and then 3 little lip palettes. And so I was excited to be a great hostess. I mean, we had a great time. And so it wasn't until that night I talked to my mother. I was in Arkansas, like I said, but my family from Valdosta, Georgia. And I called her, and I was telling her about this Mary Kay party. I knew she'd be proud that, you know, I finally consented to use the Mary Kay. So she said, you ought not to be doing all those parties. You should sell it. You have to make you some extra money. And so I thought, that's a good idea. Well, first of all, let me backtrack. Lesson number 1 was to have products on hand. Lesson number 2 is to book that follow-up facial with your people that you sell their skincare to. And you know, Mary Kay teaches this, but sometimes I don't think we really do it. And so because she did that, it made me want the whole line, and I was on the whole line. So that's lesson number 2. Go ahead and book that follow-up facial. Don't be scared to let her book a party with you because it will sell her on the rest of the product. Plus, you get to know your people a little bit better after a party, after 2 appointments. So anyway, after I talked with her, I called my consultant, and her name's Sandra. And of course, I said, you know what my mama said? She said that I ought to, sell Mary Kay. So she jumped right on it like we would, right, as consultants. And she told me, I had an interview with her, so to speak, and she told me about the company, and then she told me, like Nancy, that, it costs money to get in. Well, I was still that same person with no money. I was already only paying her $20 a week. I don't even know if I had the kit paid off by then. And so I told her I had to think about it. Well, I went home, and I thought about it, and I thought, I don't have money, so that's it. So I called her back, and I said, it's just not a good time for me. I think I just need to wait. And, she said, well, why don't you go to a meeting with me, one of my sales success meetings. And so she kept trying. And about 3 months of her asking me to a meeting, I mean, really, I kept putting her off, and I thought, I'm not doing it. I don't need to go to a meeting. She finally tricked me, and she said, we go to Little Rock, Arkansas, we eat, and all this good stuff, and I'm like, all right. So lesson number 3 before I go into the meeting is don't give up on people. Because if they show interest in selling Mary Kay, and especially they ask you about it, and then they change their mind and give you some reason, really, it's just fear, and they don't have all the information to know how they can get in. But sometimes we go, oh, she changed her mind. She still wants to do it, but you just have to somehow show her a way that she can figure it out to get in the company. You never know that, sometimes in Mary Kay, you facial them, they're a hostess, and then you interview them, and then sometimes you take them to the meeting. It's that 4th thing that signs them up, right? Some people you can do on the spot, but there's some that take a little longer. So for me, that was how I was. So she took me to the meeting, and it happened to be at the sales director's house. It just happened to be the national sales director was there, Alma Gaines. If any of you have been in a long time, you might remember Alma from Little Rock. And the first thing that impressed me as a young woman right out of college was how professional everybody looked. They all had suits on. And, you know, their director suits, the consultants had on suits, and they were dressed up. And I came from a world of college where it's very casual. I wore jeans every single day. People got excited if I wore dress pants. I mean, I wore a dress to church, but that's it. So I looked around and thought, these women are sharp. And you know what, ladies, I really didn't relate to my consultant, my friend, as much as those. Like, when I saw everybody else, that's really what made me want to do it. I mean, I knew her, but I've known her a long time. But when I saw a little bit bigger picture, that's kind of what got me. So that's why it's so important, you know, to get people to come with you to your success meetings sometimes. They may not relate to you, but they might relate to someone else. So at the sales meeting, I looked around and I started asking behind my consultant's back how people got money to get in Mary Kay in that office. So when she wasn't looking, I was like interviewing other people. Because I knew it was more than that $100 kit. I knew that she bought inventory because she gave it to me that night. And so I found out that a lot of those women didn't have money either when they started. And that some of them, a lot of them, went and actually got business loans, or not business loans, to get their Mary Kay inventory and their kit. When I joined Mary Kay, they didn't take credit cards. So there is a money order or cashier's check, period. So the only way, you know, that we could do it is go to the bank and get money, and that's what we did. So it got me thinking. I didn't say anything to my consultant on the way home. I just thought about it. And she gave me a cassette tape that said, this time next week, you can be a business for yourself. And it had a folder, and it had this big, long, stretch pink Cadillac with this lady in this fur coat with this big hair just leaning on that car. And I thought, that is so me. I didn't know it at the time, but, and ladies, for those of you that are younger, a cassette tape. Now, it's this rat tape on box. It looks like this. It's got this tape. Yeah, anyway, so that's what we used back in the day. So I listened to that tape the next day. I had a little, you know, boom box, of course, it's about this big, you know. And so I put it in there to listen to it, and I thought, next week, this time, I could be in business for myself. Now today it's like, you know, in 10 minutes you can be in business, but we had to mail them in, right? So I just got thinking about that one day. I went to work that day, and I came home and I got my mail, and in the mail was a letter from my father. And inside it was the title to the car I had been driving for 5 years, a Ford Escort wagon. And it was a 1980 Ford Escort wagon they got me when I went to school and it's paid off. And I thought, I could go to the bank with this because I knew I had no credit and I sure didn't own anything. So I thought I could go to the bank with this. This could be my collateral to get myself that little loan. So I marched myself up to the bank and I went to the meeting on Monday. On Tuesday I got this letter. On Wednesday I went to the bank. And surprise, surprise, they gave me a loan. And I thought, they gave me a loan. If I'd known it was this easy to get money, I mean, you know, I'd already been up at that bank. So they gave me a loan. They gave me a loan and for $1,000 is what I asked for. Because she had talked to me about inventory and she only told me about the first level, which was the 600. So that's what I got. Now, let me stop and say, my lesson number 4 is don't judge. Don't prejudge on inventory with your people. You know, start at the top, full inventory, and then you can work your way down and tell them, because you don't know, even if they say they're broke, even if they were broke 2 weeks ago, even if, you know, I had to make payments on that basic skincare set, she didn't really know me. And she didn't know my personality enough to know that if she had said, full inventory is a $3,600 and this is what you need, then I would have went to that bank and that's what I would have asked for. But because she only told me about the one level, that's what I got. So we don't know what resources other people might have, right? I mean, they might not have it, but they might forget it. So that was a lesson that I have taken all through my Mary Kay career. And I tell people when I'm doing inventory with them, I say, I don't know your situation, but I know when I got started that my gal only told me about the lowest level, so I'm going to start at the top and go down because you might have big dreams like I did. So you never know. Well, so I was in the company. I got my product, I called my consultant and I said, I'm ready. And I got a $600 order ready to go. She was blown away. I did my own. I don't know why I didn't think that she could help me, but I was kind of an independent person. So anyway, I got my kit, and they told me before I got my kit, they said, now, your kit's going to be in about a week. You need to book 8 parties, and you need to hold 5 of them in the first 2 weeks, at least. And I thought, well, when am I going to train? because, you know, I just signed up to come in a week and I'm going to do my parties that next week. They said, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. So, you know, and I wondered too when I got in is why we wouldn't book 8 parties and hold 8. I thought, what we're going to do with the other 3? And of course, she knew that people postpone on you, and she knew people cancel, so she was setting me up for success instead of failure, right? So, the kid came in, and it came in on a Monday, and my first party was on Tuesday. My consultant told me, my recruiter, she said, well, don't come in, you can use mine. And she said, well, do you want me to go with you to it, you know, to help you with your first party? I'm like, no. I said, if I mess up, I'm going to only be the only one that knows. And so I'm like, no, I don't want you to, because she said, you don't? I don't know. So when I got my kid in, they had another cassette. So I listened to that skincare class about 10 times, and I had my big old flip chart, and I'd read it and listen, read it and listen. I thought, all right, I'm ready. So my party, I was in apartment number 9, and my party was in number 19 with 3 of my good friends. So I walked all the way and toted all my stuff upstairs to the apartment right ahead of me, above me. And I came in, and the girl had lots of, like, Longaberger baskets. Y'all know what those are? Really cute. And it said, you know, like the cracker box is like $50, right, for those Longaberger baskets. Well, I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to be selling some Mary Kay tonight. So I did my party, and I mean, I did a good job. And those 3 friends of mine, one bought a liner, one bought another liner, and one bought an eyeshadow, not even a compact. Anyway, it was $23.50. And I just looked at him, and I really, to tell you the truth, I got mad at him for not buying enough. Well, I'll tell you, they didn't know it. I got home, and I figured it out. I thought, okay, I made half. That's $11.75. It took me 2 hours, so I divided that, that's $5.87. Remember I told you I was making an hour? $4.05. I thought, well, it's pitiful, but it's still $1 more, and I was sitting there and made all day long. Beautiful. So I thought, not bad, not bad. Well, so lesson number 5 is make sure your recruits go for the perfect start and the power start. Because if I had not had another booking, oh, by the way, so my next party that was Tuesday. Thursday, I had another booking, and I had 5 people that worked at the computer center with me that none wore makeup. I thought, I'm probably not going to sell anything. All of them bought the skincare set, every one of them, and booked 2. Then on Saturday, I had a little party. Well, at the end of the week, I had sold $400. And so, let me tell you, lesson number 5 is I already said that. Make sure your people go for the perfect start and the power start. Okay. Number 5, did you get number 5? Did I say number 5? I know a fast talker because she went like this. Make sure your recruits go for the perfect start or the power start. That's lesson number 5. So when I went to the very first sales meeting, she took me to on Monday night. She asked me to wear a dress and bring a snack. And I said, okay. So I didn't cook then, and I don't cook now. So I made my one and only recipe of chocolate oatmeal cookies, the no-bake kind, right? I had them on a big smiley face plastic plate, yellow with a big smiley face. And I put them on there, and I walked in my heels that I wasn't that comfortable in. And I walked down the aisle to take them to the front, and I tripped. I went like this. I was like, I didn't go all the way down, but the cookies slid off the plate because my saran wrap was like cheap, and it just slid with all the cookies. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to get on the floor with this dress, picking up these cookies, and I thought, this is such a great start. But the good news is that night I was the queen of sales for that meeting. They put a crown on my head and bowed. And I thought, I am in this company. I made $400. My take-home check normally was $130. I spilled cookies and they bowed to me. I thought, I am just it. I'm in. So the last lesson before I close is number 6 is take your team members with you to your sales meetings. Because you don't know, I mean, that recognition, I didn't even know I liked to win. Well, I did. But I didn't really ever win that much. I won guitar lessons in high school. But, you know, I'm loving that winning, and it made me want to go back and do better. So take them with you, put them in the car with you, make sure they don't skip those first couple meetings. Ladies, the rest is history. I look back on the 26 years. I've had so many great memories and great moments. I can tell the funniest stories ever. If you just come talk to me, ask me about the frog pond in my first car, but I'll tell you that another day. But my very best friends are in Mary Kay. I'm surrounded by positive, upbeat people every single day. I'm challenged to set new goals and stretch myself to be a better leader in Mary Kay. I've enjoyed the stability of you know, being able to take care of myself financially, and I say, wow, with or without a man. And so Nancy, you know, that 43-year-old man, your son, you might want to hook a sister up. I mean, you know, you never know. Y'all get too tall. So, ladies, I want to just tell you that you may be here today, you may be brand spanking new, and you may go up to the top so fast it makes mine and Nancy's head spin. But you may also have been in a while and you're taking the scenic route to the top. But you know what the deal is? Both people get there. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in, it doesn't matter if you had a slow start, or, you know, you don't judge or compare yourself to anybody else in Mary Kay, because you run your own race. And when it's your time, and when you make that mind shift, if you're going to do something different this year, you'll flat do it, and no one will be able to stop you. And so I just want to tell you that this is your year. I mean, anything can happen. This is the first time I've ever been in the top 3 of like the Go Give. And so if I can do it, you guys can do it. And if I spill cookies and still make it, you can too. Y'all have an awesome workshop. Thank you.